Hi guys.
Hello everyone.
How are you? Okay, so I'm Anwuli Lagos.
I'm Jemimah Otagada. And we're two designers who are trying to get into Lagos Fashion Week.
Yes, so that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build and structure a business that we can work with, that can run and succeed for the next few years while we showcase in Lagos Fashion Week. So how was your week?
I think it was good, or it's been good since the last time. Remember I mentioned here that I was going to talk with some children in a primary school.
Yes, that's true.
It was a very good experience. I enjoyed myself talking with the children. Apparently I realized that there's some level of sexuality education going on in
the school already. Schools. In public schools, okay.
Public school, yeah.
Okay.
And you know, some of the songs that we sing when we go out to talk, the children were familiar with it.
Oh, beautiful.
And the concept was not entirely new.
Okay,
so
that's good.
That made me very happy. I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I made a few new friends. And it just opened me up to the need for mentoring, mentorship. You know, where most of these things are done based on CSR, corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
You know, and I think we owe it to our community because we have this thing of forgetting our roots.
Okay.
Do you understand? And there are people in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure enough people are reaching out to. I'm not even sure if people are conscious of the fact that this school is in that community.
Okay,
and what they can do.
Well, of the impression, somehow we've trained ourselves to believe that if we take care of our own space, we've taken care. But the thing is that the possibility of things outside affecting you is actually quite high.
It's higher.
Yeah, especially when it comes to kids.
Yes.
Because my daughter is extremely social. She's a social butterfly. She doesn't care who she meets. She can meet a regular kid walking on the road and she just says, "Hi, my name is," and she just starts talking. Sometimes she now goes, "How come that person didn't talk back?" That's it, the person doesn't talk back. But if the person relates, that's it. They can sit down and talk for the next 1 hour straight. They will play, they will run. The other person, her name is this one, so it's like,
and ask the basic questions
and if, as far as I'm concerned, I've taken care of my own home, that kid, where that child is from, will affect my child.
True.
Yeah.
True. Somebody said one day, your child is like Moses. If you're familiar with the Moses story
in the Bible,
you one day put your child in that basket and put it on the Nile. Then whatever happens afterwards, it may not end up like the way Moses' story ends up. But if you look beyond your shoulder and extend love to the next random child, it would, to a large extent, determine how safe your child will be in the world. So points that I'm trying to make is that let's try and make the world a safer and a better place for us.
Well, we're not making the world safe if we're just making it for ourselves. We have to help others. I don't know, it's a tall order, especially in the world we live today, but let's try.
Wherever you find yourself, speak about values, maybe to mothers or to children, because you have no idea how clueless a lot of people are. And parenting in this day and age, a lot of people are in denial of the odds, the things that can go wrong. It's not like you should be pessimistic about life, but people just wish that this thing can never happen to me. People say, God forbid, but God forbid doesn't cut it.
True that.
That's more like the highlight of my week.
Oh boy, my week scattered. Jemimah. My week scattered. First off, if you were there, a few hours after our last video, my daughter.
Oh yeah.
I got a call from school.
We were still together when you got the call.
I got a call from school. Yes. Come and carry your pikin. She's not feeling well. That's how we packed her things. Took her straight to the hospital. We're in the hospital till like 7 in the evening.
Oh.
Yeah, so she had malaria. It's not that big a deal. But you know how it is. It's like she'll take tests. You wait for the test to come out. You wait for the doctor, diagnose, buy medication. Then she has to take injection. So they put that IV in her hand. And that's, I think one of my lessons for that week is that the reason why your goals or your systems are intact is because you don't have things that are tossing it around just yet. So I feel like what I learned, because all I kept thinking was that, so when Fashion Week comes, is this how I'm going to behave? Is this how I'm going to be? Because everything, my sleep pattern, my eating pattern, my reading pattern, everything just went wham. Hey, I could not believe myself. And I had work. last video that I was in, I mentioned that I took up work. So on Friday, Valentine's Day, I was in the market.
Took up work that was not regular.
That is not regular. Thank you. Yeah, I took up irregular work and I decided to do everything myself. I went to market on Valentine's Day. Hey, first of all, I feel like I can do an entire episode on talking about what Lagos market is like now, but I won't get into it now. We don't have we don't have the time for it. But I just said that one. Okay, first of all, I found that t-shirt guy.
Oh yeah, you said so. You mentioned it. Yes,
I found my t-shirt guy. That's number one. Number two, a lot of buildings are going down.
Yes, not just Lagos market, in Lagos generally.
In the market,
the demolition is
that's why I lost my t-shirt guy. I saw so like. Thankfully, I remembered I had his number, so I called him. They now took me into one place. The guy told me that it was on a Sunday that it was demolished.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
So he was lying down somewhere, sleeping. They called him and said, that's your building market. So he ran to the market. He was able to see. So a lot of people lost their things. You know, of course, there's a common, I'm sure they were warned. Well, maybe, but reality on ground though. So like a lot of buildings are being demolished. So a lot of my customers that I've had for years, I had to go and look for their new places, and everywhere just looks a little different. Then I haven't been there this year. In between, like I was in the market, I was going through like some very narrow paths, and the build. You know how narrow? That's like before Tom Jones. I don't know how to explain it, right? Behind Balogun, from one street to another. From Balogun to that Tom Jones side, that connecting part. I'm going through those narrow streets, and the house is being brought down beside me.
Oh my goodness!
I was so freaked out, and people were selling like regular.
It's like they are normal.
There's dust everywhere. There's not like the.
But Nigerians are very resilient.
Walai, that is it though. That is what we're because I couldn't believe I was walking and I was hearing boom, boom. I'm like Jesus. I knew I was walking, and one person in front of me was saying, "Hey, pure water." I was like, "Madam, see, can you pure water? Get out of my way. Let me run away." But anyway, but that's it with Lagos market. So finding a lot of my old customers wasn't very easy. But I'm glad I found the t-shirt guy. So at least I think we should be able to supply some t-shirts. But my week scattered. That's the issue. I sold on a weekend. I've not done that in a while. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but I did that most of Sunday. I was just on the machine sewing like a mad person. I've not worked in the weekend for I think 7 years or so. But I made a decision. My weekend must be my own. You people should leave me. Let me do what I want to do. So I work during the week and I leave my weekend. But this weekend I did it. I also delivered by myself. I've not done that in a while. I usually have. I went and delivered, but where I was delivering wasn't far. But I did a self-delivery. I haven't done that in a minute. But I'm telling you, everything, like things that I've been able to achieve, routine I've been able to achieve for years, all of them scattered. All of them scattered. I since 2021, I've not eaten like intentionally after 6 o'clock. Do you know that? Yeah. So it's only when I go for a party in the night, like if I go for a dinner party or I'm hosting a dinner party, that's the thing that made me eat. Or maybe even during Christmas. As long as I'm at home, I'm in my own space. By 6 o'clock, I'm done. Everybody in my house knows. I did it 3 times this week. 3. After I ate one by 9. I could not be out. Like my system is going to be like, what's wrong with you, madam?
That's what somebody calls eating like a hoodlum.
Hoodlum behavior. That's the only expression. Hoodlum behavior. I slept by default. This I started in 2022. By default, by 10 o'clock I must be in bed. Whether I'm asleep or not, that's not the issue. So 9:45, I go take a shower, brush my teeth, then do everything like put my toner on and then sleep 15 minutes. I give myself 15 minutes. By 10 o'clock I must be, whether I'm reading book or even pressing phone,
I be in bed.
or I'm gisting. Sometimes I can stay in that bed and gist with my husband until maybe 11 before I now eventually, but I must be in bed. The first night, of course, my daughter was sick. I was in bed by 12:30.
I can imagine.
And that sleep, I slept only 3 hours because my daughter's body.
Yeah, you had to keep going to check on
her body was like this. Every reading. I think I lost 2 days of Bible reading. This book now, I was just explaining to her. We're supposed to do 9 pages. I'm supposed to do 9 pages every day. I did. I think it's 3 days I lost. So I'm catching up. I'm now doing reading catch up. My life this weekend. I'm happy. Do you understand? Because my daughter healed like that fast. My husband kept, every time we're saying prayer, he's thanking God that we did not get to the point where she was down,
admitted
before we took her to hospital, because she was fine when she left for school.
You know the way children can be, and children can be really ill, but they are up and about. And
she wasn't running a temperature. We did not notice until they called. So it was when they said that her temperature was high. She said she was having a headache, and they checked the temperature. They had to give her paracetamol to reduce the temperature while she was in school. When we came to pick her body was hot. So she was fine. So my husband just kept thanking God that, oh boy, thank God though that she did not go down before we now started trying to bring her back up. So the healing process was very slow. She hasn't been, so I think this is the first time she's been ill since maybe 2022.
Okay.
She doesn't fall ill often at all. We're quite lucky with her. She doesn't fall ill often. Like in her whole life, I think she's been ill up to maybe 5 times or something. We thank God that she's fine, she's up and about, and thank God for midterm. Imagine if there was no midterm, that would be because like losing these children are somehow. If you see all this, she was complaining that she will not go back to school. Like children in the hospital, when they told her that today Thursday you cannot go to school on Friday, she starts crying. The doctor starts laughing. I said in our time we used to be happy.
Yeah, that when
children are so funny.
Yes.
Children.
Yes.
Go to school. I said, hey. I said, madam, you're not feeling well, relax. But eventually I took her to school. She spent maybe an hour, and then we came back. And even when we were leaving, she was still crying again. I told her, madam, please come, let's be going on this one. You know, so what I actually wanted us, before we start, I wanted us to discuss our time in Faith Foundation. Do you remember it?
Yes.
So Faith Foundation, I assume you know what Faith Foundation is. If you're doing business in Nigeria, Faith Foundation, I don't know, Google it. Faith Foundation was a product of us contesting in the Vlisco this thing. So people in the top 5 or so,
yes,
were taken in for a program.
Like
it was a 1-week program. It was called Samsung Real Dreams something. I'll put my certificate here so that you can see it. It happened in 2009, but it was beautiful. It was nice.
Yeah, it was
what I was remembering, why I want to talk about it was our lecturers, what are they called? Facilitators, yes. First off, Mrs. Longe.
Yeah, I remember her.
Mrs. Longe was our favorite teacher. We both loved her.
Yes.
And it turns out that her daughter, Kai, her daughter is a top fashion designer.
And I remember she mentioned it in class.
Yes, that her daughter was going to start doing fashion styling, and she has told the daughter that if you're not going to make money, don't come and don't be wasting her time.
Yes.
And she's making, like, last I heard, she was valued at, I think, $3 million. Pounds, sorry. That's what they said.
I remember that year she mentioned it in class that her daughter had a lot of followership on social media. Then it was just Facebook.
Yes.
And she's like, we're not going to be wasting all this following. And she mentioned it in class that they were going to see how she would leverage on that to enhance whatever it is she was going to be doing. Yeah. So this is how many years? About 15, 16 years.
Yes. And after that,
And so that also goes to speak about intentionality as a parent or a caregiver or a guardian, or just intentionality about your life.
If you've met the woman, it makes sense that her daughter is like that. I'm telling you. Yes. The woman she's sound, she's cool. I don't like the word I'm using, but she's a cool person. She's very chill. She's sound. She's she's very. I don't know how to. But it makes sense when I was like,
she's also very easygoing.
That's why I said I use the word cool. She's a very
tough and firm, but but
she was a
very correct person.
Correct is the word. Correct is she's a very correct woman.
Very correct.
Now I remember one lecturer. I'm going to try and talk about this person without laughing. Do you remember him?
I know. Is it not that one? There were two. That one I was saying that you try something, it's not working. She don't pit down. It's not even
that one.
Which one?
You don't remember? There was this guy. The guy came. I don't know whether he was talking with an accent.
I don't.
First impressions matter because I can't remember that guy's name. If I could remember him, I'll call his name because that guy showed us Pepe. He came and first started by talking about how he thought that the class he was going to teach was for CEOs of big.
I remember Fortune 500 company. Us down. True. Right now I don't remember his face.
I remember
his attitude.
You don't remember his face because you were sleeping. His class was boring.
Yes, I remember his attitude. It was horrible.
His class was boring. Me, I cannot sleep on a chair. Me, I know I would have slept. I don't have the ability. If I'm not on a bed, I'm not asleep. I can't do it. Even flying, I found it hard to sleep.
Yeah, I remember.
That is why the time I looked around, there was only 3 of us that were awake.
He had this oversized.
In a class of 20.
Us down.
In a class of 20. The guy came, brought by the time he put projector, it was graph, chat, writing everywhere. I was like this. I was trying to understand. But you know what a lot of us were banking on, which was what had been happening since, was that when we're done, he would give us
he refused to give us slides.
The guy said that all of us were sleeping.
Yeah. He didn't give us
He didn't engage. He didn't think, people should please now wake up, let us. Nothing like that. That guy, I wish I can remember his name. That's why he didn't give us slides. That thing caused quarrel between me and our moderator.
Yeah, we remember.
Because we're like, the moderator said, you people were sleeping. I was like, who do you think you're talking to? Have you lost your mind? What's that mean? The man came to a boring class. He's the only one. And I told our moderator then that of all the, because we had up to seven
or more.
Seven lecturers. Why do I keep saying lecturers?
And facilitators.
We had up to 7 facilitators that came. Only one person complained that all of us were sleeping. And he didn't think they didn't do this thing all through. Because that's not what was happening. There were some people that, some people can sleep. Some people can sleep through a thunderstorm. Yeah. So there were some classes, no matter how interesting it was, 1 or 2 people would still doze off. But this one, I'm telling you, I looked at the class, there was only
very boring.
Only 3 people were awake. And me, I know I was awake because I cannot sleep anyway. So I was just like this. I was trying to understand because I was awake. I still was
one of the crucial things. I think his class was the one that
business plan
aspect of business. Yes,
the business plans. That was it. Yes. I was trying to get this thing.
Which was
so in my mind, I was like
supposed to be the highlights of the program.
So I was thinking in my mind, since all this I've spent time listening to, by the time I look at the paper, it will start making sense. So I can ask. The guy refused to give us slides. I wish I knew his man. I said, you, this man, you did not do me well that time.
Not nice.
I just remembered him. I was like, hi. But there were other. Remember that the woman that taught us etiquette?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, grandma.
Yes, exactly. Say, good afternoon. You acted like the woman was so cool.
I learned a lot of things from her that helped me to carry on my life.
Then what about customer care? You remember the customer care lady? One fair lady like that. The one that told us what the mantra we learned from her was that a happy customer will tell 5 people.
Yes, she was the one that talked so much about referrals, that it matters.
She said the best customer care brings a lot of referrals.
Yes.
So she told us about one dentist office, the way she kept on telling us about changing the way we do that. Don't do business the way every other person does it. That's what customer care is. She was talking about how, I think it was a dentist in a dentist hospital in VI. And because people are afraid of going to the dentist and all that, they kind of made it more like a hotel. So like if you walk into the reception, it doesn't look like doctors. That was, I'm talking of 2009. I don't even know whatever it was. Then I remembered something. Do you remember the guy that taught us? Was it marketing? The one that made us do teamwork.
I don't remember most of the lecture, but if you talk about one thing that they
the one that made us do teamwork. That was when I realized that working in team
is not easy.
It's not for the weak.
It's not.
I want mad. My team, I want mad.
I remember when we regrouped and when we came back to the group, you kept complaining.
Because I had a beautiful idea.
Your team was.
I had a beautiful idea.
We had to do team presentations. I remember.
Then our team presentation was so bad.
I remember.
Our team presentation was so bad. And when the guy called out our leader that this was a bad idea, the guy got up and said, well, I didn't think it was a good idea. I wanted to study with you. You have a very good memory. I remember.
Hey, I remember.
Chisom was in my team now.
Yes.
So
Chisom was laughing.
was laughing at me the whole time.
Chisom found everything his face was so funny. Chisom is a stressless person. You can't stress.
He just kept laughing at me because I was just there biting myself. You can't just look at me.
He's calming down now. It's not like you're going to use it to assess us or something.
Hey. So let me see if I can remember. Okay, I remember. Our assignment was to. So Faith Foundation was holding in what? Water towers or something?
What they call it?
It was a big building, right? I think it was like
water board something.
Water board, and that building.
The same building with water board.
So it's like the building has up to like I think 12 stories or so.
Thereabouts.
Because for us to go up, I think we had to take an elevator to somewhere, then walk the rest to get to where Faith Foundation was. I think that's what it used to be back then. So they were like, okay, so the whole building, people need food. How would you get food to them? Now, this was in 2009. It's a different time. I imagine it's hard for you to believe now. But at the time in Lagos, things like deliveries didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yes. Food delivery, material, those things didn't exist. They didn't exist in Nigeria. Okada was Okada. People, all Okada did was carry people. So, this my team leader said that we're going to build a restaurant.
Yes.
Downstairs.
Yes, I remember your concept.
I said, build what? The man said, that people need food. If people need food, I'm like.
At a time when businesses actually had their own cafeterias where somebody catered. Yeah, I remember that concept you came up with.
I was like, why? Okay, like what if the person, let's say the CEO, because we actually went, what they did was that they made us go to different offices and
to ask questions.
Their bosses to the lowest, where do you eat, where do you find food, those kind of things. So like if somebody said, one person literally said, my favorite food is ocean baskets. If there was a way Ocean Basket people can be bringing food to me.
Yeah.
That will be fine. And I said, okay, let us start. We have Okada.
Delivery. Yeah.
We have Okada. I came up with, I sat down like, didn't you explain this thing? I was like, even bags, insulated bags that we can use so our food stays at either a cold or whatever temperature, so we can have a delivery service. I called it.
Your concept was great, but your group leader,
my leader said, that no.
It was just about
that is restaurants. That will what? We're like, how will we afford to buy a restaurant? The guy said, no, that we'll put canopy.
It was Mama put that was in his mind, that kind of bougie.
Canopy. Hey, Allah. It's just that guy is still my friend until now.
Oh my goodness.
We still just occasionally. But then, hey, I want man. I was like, what is this? So like, I know the thing is that if your concept is not accepted,
yes,
you refuse to work, it becomes. So I sat down and I was, because some group members don't agree to do anything. You tell them to do something, they just be like. So it's like, even though it came to a, let's say, head to head, because I wasn't even assistant, I was just a floor member in the group. It came to a head to head, both of us. Everybody just like, people should pick something. Some people didn't care. Some people just sat down. Like, whenever you parade, people should just
let us know.
Just present.
I remember.
So the guy was like, so when we presented, the guy was like, a restaurant doesn't make sense. There are multiple restaurants around here. That the person that you went to meet that said they want to eat from Ocean Basket, did they tell you that they wanted? They don't care. They might say, well, I think my business is a good idea. We'll be able to create the quality.
He was not even ready to listen to what the lecturer.
I just thought. I looked at you. Just was laughing at me. I said, this is why you need to get out of my way. Anyhow, sir. But that's it with Faith Foundation. Yeah. We learned so much from that. So if you haven't gone for Faith Foundation, I think you should go. Like, this is not a paid advert or anything, but it's one of the great things that we learned, lessons that we worked with that sustained us even till now. And the thing about Faith Foundation was that it pushed the need for business plan.
Business plan. Yes.
So in having a business plan, you're more. So speaking of business plan, our own.
That's about why.
That's why we are here. Exactly.
We're trying to
in March, we're planning to participate in a trade show or pop-up show with Pop-up Lagos. With Pop-up Lagos. And last time we talked about our ideal client, and I feel like we should. I believe that we should define her better so that we can decide the items or item that we should create and start selling for her from that pop-up. Then by the time the show comes in October, we'll be able to build something like a wardrobe around her. So we know we're working with a client between 35 and 55. That's what we have in mind. So at 35 and 55, she's likely
she's working.
She's working.
Or
she
runs a business.
She's an active.
I thought you'd be writing.
Why would I be writing?
Well, let me write.
Please write for me. Just don't do me to write. Okay, I wrote it here.
Okay, so
she's a church or she's a religious person.
Yeah,
so she's think comfort is very important to her.
Body acceptance.
But she's not body acceptance. She wants clothes. I call play clothes, like clothes that are not as comfortable. So like all this, what we call lounge wear, errand wear. There's a lot of that because they're hanging out with kids that are up. They are not more toddlers anymore. So most of the kids are a little older, teenagers mostly. Some are even in their 20s. So their clothes are not as messy.
But if we're still going to we're looking at the demography of this number 35 to 50. So I think this description we've given describes more of a woman from 45 and above. What about 45 younger? A 35-year-old she married early. If she married early,
most women in Nigeria, home and abroad, are married from 30. So if she's married from 30, at 35 she has a child that is not a toddler anymore.
I get it.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
So we're talking,
fits.
So what else? I talked about Jabba folks. So it's like we have to consider what they would consider comfortable wear. Can they wear it to work? And then a lot of people are doing more remote work too. Those type of things.
So we're thinking about multifunctional outfits.
Fashion.
Let me put multifunctional.
Then size. Okay, then we created a size. We said 12 to... I said 12 to 16, but she said 10 to 16. I wrote multifunctional here already. Interesting.
Okay,
you know, I write, and then I said, okay, they look up to someone like, I said Funke Akindele at first.
Yeah.
But then I talked about two people that I believe that are quite iconic in their clothing, in Nigerian celebrity or gospel. This thing, that was T.Y. Bello
and Awoshika.
And okay, but Awoshika's clothing are not exactly, how do I put it?
No, I mentioned Awoshika based off on the fact that
they
a
look
lot
up
of
to someone
attention,
like
attention is drawn towards her. And
okay, well, I think we need to study her and know what it is about her fashion that could easily inspire people to want to be like her. You get. You
were going to mention someone else.
I'll say Messi Chimo. That's what I said last.
Yeah, yes. I
because of the use of the beret, and so it's like if we're looking for someone that is quite, would I say, we're taking on religious people, but a Christian woman may want to emulate, you know, the use of wearing and then similar headgear with the color of the dress. That's what I thought of. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we stopped at her economic power.
Yeah,
that's
economic
what
power.
We didn't talk so much about.
So how do we know how much is she willing to spend on clothes? She doesn't buy as often. And then I realized last night that she would likely spend more on clothes for events. Because like I said, we're Nigerians, so Nigerians, a lot of money goes in. I feel like some things cannot be avoided. If your sister-in-law is getting married, you wear whatever color, that's, you know, all stuff. Your friends from school, your friends from when you were, you know, your friends are doing something, your friends' kids are doing something, you have a tendency to wear a. So those things cannot be avoided. So what can be avoided, and how do we fit into those places? Yeah, if we were a pure bespoke company, I would say let us cater to the people that are making ashebis. But then how do we we have to find a way to translate that to a Lagos Fashion Week? How do we tell people, look at us, so come and meet us to make this type of thing?
I think people are becoming more in tune with even ready to wear ashwebi type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think that's happening?
If you can think of it's a market or a niche that has not really been fully catered.
Can you explain ready to wear ashwebi?
So what I'm trying to say is, because you know
that. Okay, I apologize. Please, non-Nigerians. Ashwebi is what happens in events where everybody wears the same
color or the same
fabric. Is a way to celebrate whoever you came with. So if it's a wedding, the bride can share a particular fabric with all her friends and relatives, and everybody that came with the bride wear that color. And then
sometimes the bride's mother has
hair. So it's like it adds a lot of color to the event, just so that you don't get lost. Out ashwebi is. I apologize. Hey, carry on.
Okay, so I was saying that ready to wear ashwebi in the sense that you think of the variety of colors that people would like to use, and then make collections from there where people can just walk into your store
and buy them
or place an order
based off
existing designs. Yes, that's one niche or market that has not.
But you know, it's you that will handle that more than I will, because I'm not a bespoke person at all. The way I will run like a mad person.
And you know, the way this would work is not about us sewing; it's about us coming with designs and then getting people who would get the work.
Yeah, but it's not you sewing, but you see the back and forth. They having to talk to somebody looking for material. See,
I get it.
I've left that parolo, and I don't think I want to go back,
because I even with the advent of bubus coming back now, it's the go-to thing for most Nigerian women, especially women in this bracket.
Okay.
People are
okay, so I came up with the concept with bubu before. Do you remember?
I remember the one.
Do you think we should do that for?
I think that will make
March?
A lot of sense.
Do you think we should do that for March?
Yes, I think so. I've been thinking about it since we spoke about it.
Okay, so I'm trying to incorporate a corset into a bubu. That's the idea. So bubu is like this very big free cloth, but the way I see it is that, the way I look at it is that I don't know any woman that has a problem with her body being defined. So like imagine this big thing, then you just see a body.
Corset, that defines.
Yeah, so it's like you see a body in between the luxurious
kind of like the Japanese.
Yes, I realized like weeks after I told her about this almost 2 weeks ago, that it actually looks a lot like Japanese. So clearly that's what my mind had been. I just didn't know that it was there. Okay.
So I think that makes sense.
That means we have, so how many will we make for the pop-up? Because the way I see it too is that one of the best things we can do for ourselves is not to create too many items. Create one item, hone in on it, then become memorable and recognizable for that. you get before you now start expanding.
Yes.
But that thing has to be something that you're 100% sure that your target clients would appreciate and need and then go with it.
I know this thing about what your client wants, because people actually go more for what they want than what they need.
Yes.
So fewer pieces, but timeless and memorable.
So we're going to make a corset and we're going to make a bubu.
Bubu, yeah.
Okay, so we need to make a,
and you don't have to pair them. They'll be made in such a way that
we need to make a mock-up first. Them. So mock-up with the muslin calico. Make mock-up. We have to make one soon. We have like give or take a week to go. I'm sorry, a month to go.
A month to go. Not up to a month anymore. 3 weeks.
Yeah, make a mock-up. Do you have calico? I don't.
Yes, I have calico.
Oh yeah, now we have to calico. So how do we do it? You make the bubu. I mean, I don't know how to make corsets. I don't remember last time. Not like I don't know how to. I don't remember last time I made the corsets. How do we do it?
That will not be a problem now.
So the idea is that when we make it and it's good, we will use it as our gauge to decide every other thing we're going to do, how we're going to do it. I thought of the fabric a lot last night. Just last night. It's a very short. It's a dream of a few hours ago. Linen. Because I've been struggling with fabric. Because I was thinking, okay, what's it? I don't. It's not like I don't want to get on the Ashoke band. Ashoke is beautiful, but for what we're trying to do, I don't think Ashoke is what we need. I don't know.
Linen. I'm also thinking towards linen.
Linen will dye. Linen will dye well. Linen will print well. Print is my area. This is me. Do you understand? Print is my thing. Linen will dye well, linen will print well, linen will sew well, linen is very breathable. Do you understand? We're in a very hot Nigeria. And when Nigerians buy our clothes, they go and wear it during summer outside. So we need something that when breeze is blowing, they are feeling the hair. So I was thinking linen, like I found a place on Instagram. I think we should check it out. I don't know when we'll be able to. Or it's in Surulere. They say they have dyeable fabrics. That's what they call. That's what they have. So fabrics, they sell fabrics for people to dye if you want. So we can go there, check out
what they
then see if we can go and find somebody that can help us create maybe adire on some of it. Then we can use. My dear, maybe we can make, because I like the idea of the bubu being plain. Then we can make the corsets to now be, because our corset is already very intricate. So we can bead on them, we can print on them, we can
do all sorts of
adhere on them.
That's versatile.
Thank you. So she even mentioned a leather corset. I think a leather corset on a linen bubu is going to be wild. It's going to look so good. So we can use denim, we can use anything for the corset itself. So how many do you think we should make? How many will make will depend on how much
we're going to go for the one that's coming up on Saturday. The February edition. That would help us gauge what the market is like. To see if they have their own people and those who would be inviting that would come root for us, and all that would determine
then the buying power.
Because it would be cool to be sold out.
So. And it would be cool that when it's sold out, we are able to make up the money for everything. Because a lot of times we think that I made 5 clothes and so I made 1 million. That means I made money. You have to think of everything that you went through, the fuel that you paid to get to
whatever, all the costs
then
that got
we plan to. There was an idea that I got from Ejiro. She said that the first show she ever did, she had models wear her clothes and walk around the event. So it's like if we're able to hire models, all those things are going to be money. So we're going to pay models, we have to feed the models. It's not just hiring them to come and be wandering around under the sun like mad people. We have to feed them, we have to keep them hydrated. So all those things, they need to be paid for while we go. But linen has been on my mind since yesterday. I just thought of, imagine if we become the linen princesses, like linen queens. People say, this people sabi linen. Well, so everything we do, because I feel like linen, it comes in different economic classes. It looks timeless because we're talking of somebody that doesn't shop often frivolously. Even though we're Nigerians, we're quite frivolous shoppers, but I think that it drops a bit at this point, even though they have a lot more money, but they spend more money buying clothes for the children that they buy for.
And they're thinking of investments.
So it's like a lot of them are doing things like prioritizing things like even insurance, cars, houses over clothes. So, but if they are buying things that they can keep and hold on to for a long time, it serves that purpose. So it's not, they bought this thing for walking up and down, and then after 3 weeks of wearing,
it has gone.
It has scattered. I washed it twice, and so we want something that can last long. So like, and then it's easy to make separates in linen. You can have linen pants, linen skirts, linen jacket, linen top, linen shirts. Linen shirt is a classic must-have. So the more we have those items
pieces
in there, the more our client is inclined to buy from us and thinks about us when they see it. Like, they're these girls that we know that this is what they do. So I like the idea of linen. This makes me happy.
So linen, then slash corset.
So linen, we have to start looking for. We have to start looking for linen. Colors and all. Then
we still talked about t-shirts. We're sticking with that.
Yes, t-shirt. I think t-shirt is more like a low cost, because she said that for pop-up, have something that is easy to move like that. For some reason, I thought of totes too. What if we do totes? If we can do t-shirt with somebody printing on it, we can do totes with print on it too. So maybe a print of something cool. Then we'll write at the side that is from our brand. We're still having brand name problem. The name we had last week when we spoke.
It's not a problem, it's a challenge.
Okay, we still have
taking care of.
we still have brand name challenge because last time we're like, don't worry, we'll have a name. We woke up sometime between that week and said that name is not going to work, and we've left that one alone. So we're coming up with a new one soon, and all this has to be done because we have to make labels. We have to make tags. We have to make a
packaging,
bag to go bags. With those things. Whew.
So I think,
is there anything else that we want to discuss? So I think what we're going to do off camera, or I don't know if we'll do it, I think we should do it off camera because we don't have time, is to talk about the money. So like, how much is it going to cost to put this together? Then how much do we need to make sure that we sell to be able to at least say, okay, we broke even for this particular show. Do you understand? Because we need to start getting that in place real quick. Is there anything else? Anything from the book? There are things in the book.
There are plenty things.
There are plenty things in the book I want to discuss. But now, I don't know if I have.
I think what we'll do, since next week is going to be the last. We must have finished the book by next week. So next week is going to be summary. Summary. I'm on it. And I'm excited about.
There were some videos. I guess I'll tell you to watch it. She hasn't seen them too. Do you remember? Is your phone off?
No.
Oh yeah. Do you remember them? I said okay. So right now, New York Fashion Week just ended last week. So I said Oscar de la Renta. He has a documentary called A Sense of Beauty, which I discovered last night, and I swear I watched it and I've been having sleepless nights since. It's making me so happy. It's making my brain go, which is wonderful. So that on Sunday we usually watch something on Sunday. We didn't watch anything on Sunday. We spent a lot of time just talking. We spent a lot of time just talking about what was happening to us with us individually, and then talked a bit about the business. But we didn't watch anything. This is what friendship causes. Because if we're business people that didn't know each other, we would just come and face and we'll be talking about my child, my husband, my sister. But we won't be talking about that one. We'll just say, hey, so we came to, but it was a good time, by the way. Do you see these things?
Yes, there's Dior.
Dior's show was beautiful. Dior's show was beautiful.
There's NYFW.
That's a New York
Fashion Week. Oh, sorry. What's this?
Fall Winter 2025.
Oh, okay. I get it was the Oscar de la Renta you were trying to talk about.
The Oscar de la Renta also did Haute Couture, so I didn't want you to mix them up.
I get it.
I wanted you to get the one from. So there was Oscar, there was Dior, there was Jacques Muse.
To think, if you had not said this now, right? I was thinking this was a label. This is another label.
No.
I would have been looking for.
I should have written. What I wanted to tell you was that look for the one from the Fashion Week that just held, not the one from Haute Couture. This thing. So just check it out. Check out Oscar de la Renta's. It's here on YouTube. So it's either you find it either on Fashion Feed or you find it on Oscar's page itself. So the documentary A Sense of Beauty talks about the build up to them creating a collection. I don't even know which year the collection was, but the process is divine. It's beautiful. Then Dior had a good show. Dior had a very dramatic show. I think that's what that was. Then Jacques Muse was also very good. Then I mentioned Carolina Herrera. So there are a lot of uses of flowers.
Yeah.
So I think that we should use. I've always loved the idea of the cassava leaf. Maybe because I grew up around it.
I like it too.
However, the cassava leaves looks very similar to weed.
no concern us.
If I put cassava leaf on a cloth like this, would I look like I tell people to go smoke? Can't smoke.
Context matters.
Yeah. How do I explain that to people? Because that's what happened with our name. We had a beautiful name, but we started looking at it from the eyes of a client, and we realized we cannot explain to every client that this is not what's happening here. So it's that same thing. Are we going to be explaining to people? No, that's not what we mean. No, you get.
Not tweak it now. Give it.
I thought of other things. I thought of like moringa. I love pawpaw. Pawpaw is very similar to this thing. So instead of doing a flower, I feel like flowers are quite
common.
Not common actually. I feel like flowers are maybe overdone.
Okay.
Home and abroad, a lot of people use flowers. But imagine if we can have flowers. We used to have laser cutters before. Do you remember?
Yes.
With people that used to cut. So like imagine if we can have like in linen have laser cut leaf. So like some of our clothes will be laser cut leaf, then some will be relieved. I'm talking of fashion week now, not hair. So some will be relieved. So like we cut out just a bit like what this applique thing is. So we create applique, then do a print, then do so like different forms of the same
different concepts of the same idea.
Of the same idea, yeah. So it's like it kind of makes the whole thing cohesive. Everything is the same, but they are expressed in different ways. I feel like sometimes you have an idea, right? When it feels like you're thinking too much, and when you think of how much it's going to take for you to do it, that's how much energy you feel overwhelmed and you just stop. Does that happen to you?
No, when I'm thinking, I don't stop.
I do. It's when like right now, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that's going to be a lot of work. I need to stop. That's what I think now.
So the way to do it, the way it works for me is that I'm thinking, I try to put down.
Okay. So when you put it down, you feel a little
relief, like you're
because right now everything I'm thinking, I'm like, hey,
like you're letting out.
By the time I do this one, I'm like,
like you're letting out. That's all.
Anyway, that's our class. That's our class. That's our this thing. Or do you have anything you want to add?
Today, no.
I don't have anything. I want to go and sleep.
I'm a bit bluey. So
our girl is going through emotional telemundo, which happens to all of us. Thank you very much.
It's fine.
I'm telling you, it happens to us every other day. You just wake up one day, your life will start acting like it's what the Spanish soap opera, what they call them, Mexican soap opera.
Yeah.
You're like, what is all this one?
But that's life.
That life. I'm telling you.
We move. We keep moving.
I think what I say to tomorrow is that whatever happens, make sure that you do what you say you're going to do. Because what you don't want is to stop because of the way you feel about something. Years pass. And you will think, why didn't I do that thing that time? And you forget that this particular thing that was happening to you. You will now realize that you will start beating yourself up for not doing it. It wasn't worth it, And that's what happens. So just, no matter what, just work.
Whatever we go through should make us, not break us.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm learning that I'm one who can easily pack up because of the flimsiest thing.
I won't allow to
with age.
Because I don't have patience.
With age and growth, I realized that we move. Don't let anything put you down.
Yeah. Do you know your personality? I'm asking you, whoever is on this thing. Try to study yourself. The more you know yourself, the more you understand how you handle situations.
I'm melancholy.
Melancholy
and phlegmatic.
Two
very mellow.
Two mellow people. Now, interestingly, the last time I did, not the last time, the first time my results have always come up differently. But what I concluded after I did this huge therapy like 2 years ago, that's my dominance, this thing is sanguine and melancholy. Then my non-dominant is phlegmatic.
Oh, okay.
That was how it was put. But then when I did a search, like there's a website that you can go to and they will describe what it means. What it actually explains, like this is the one about the only group that has this problem where you're believing that or you're being melancholy and sanguine at the same time actually is equal to you being choleric. So actually what I am is I'm choleric and phlegmatic. The reason why I would reject a choleric idea is because phlegmatics cannot be, do you understand? They don't
I get it.
So if phlegmatic is the fact you have to believe, me I cannot be. But when you're melancholy and that's when melancholy and sanguine is your principal personality.
What's the percentage of your melancholy and this? Are they at par? Or
yes,
one is higher
they are par.
Okay, that's what makes
yes,
it.
that's why it's like that. It's like I think 35, two of them.
I get it.
It's 35. Then that's just like, so they were like that. You actually make peace with it. You're choleric. So you're choleric and phlegmatic, which is wild. Because choleric is all the way there. Phlegmatic is all the way there. So it's like, it's crazy. But it helps. A lot of the confusions I had about myself like, why didn't you do this thing? So it's like a lot of times I scold myself for silly things that I did in my phlegmatic state. I started learning to accept. Now so life they be, you know. And you know,
when you discover yourself, become more self-aware, it helps you, you know, to make wiser, better decisions because you understand you.
And your personality is not just all that defines you. Your
experience.
Experience is made of. So it's like a phlegmatic that grows up in a particular house is different from a phlegmatic that grew up in another
house.
So it's like the way you grew up is different. What number you are in your family. If you're an only child, it makes you different. If you're a woman, it's different. You're a guy, it's different. You're in Nigeria, it's different. Ghanaian, different. Outside the country, all those things. So all those things are things that's squished together to make you this beautiful
person,
smoothie that you are. Anything else, sister?
No, I think
we have a lot of work. I have to be at a meeting in 3 minutes ago.
It's really 3 minutes ago.
It's nice to see you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Thank you for all the love. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.